all the Bond movies up till this point, we had talked about it had gotten, I think the franchise in a way had gotten stale because it was like everything felt like very much in-house, right? We had the same director, the same writer, the same producers, the same effects team. Like everybody was the same. There was no new blood. It was just like, yeah, we've been doing it this way forever. Like we're going to keep doing it this way forever.
Bond walks into the office. Moneypenny is sitting there at the desk. She's frame right. Bond walks frame left through the double door into M's office. And it's the same thing over and over. This is the first time that you feel this
breath of fresh air and everything's new.
Yeah.
And I also like how, remember when we talked about the writing in some of these movies, it was, you had the producers in the room, and you had the writer in the room, the director, and the stunt coordinators, because the stunt coordinators are like, yeah, we could do this skydiving thing. We could do this thing where a giant truck tips on two wheels. We could
write a scene around it.
Yeah, write this around it. And I felt watching this movie, I don't feel that. I think people will comment about the bungee jumping because I think bungee jumping did become popular right around the early 90s. That's maybe the only little thing. But I think it still serves the story just well enough, and it doesn't feel like any scene particular is like the stunt coordinator saying, hey, we could do this. It just feels like they wrote a script first, then decided what stunts they could, maybe put into the story that would service it.
As we've gone through these films, obviously, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, a lot of those towards the top are just timeless classics, brilliant films.
Yeah.
And you can't put them side to side with these films alone on, money and graphics, etc. But we were all longing for, I think, something new. I know I was, and it was refreshing watching License to Kill and this film just kind of slowly updating.
I honestly believe that this is the movie that not only delivers everything you could ever want in a Bond movie, but is also just one of the best movies ever made. I'm not sitting here saying it's Oscar worthy or anything like that, but just as far as these Bond movies go, this one, I think I love every moment of it. I mean, other than the little nitpicky things that we pointed out so far.
Chair face.
It's so cohesive. It just nails its tone from beginning to end while simultaneously managing to be dramatic, to be funny, to be light, to be dark. It somehow manages all these things along with just this compelling story about an evil James Bond. And it just never falters in that. It doesn't have any of the stuff that stuck out like a sore thumb that we've complained about, especially through the Roger Moore era. If you are following along with all of the movies up to this point and everything that we've commented on, this movie is obviously at the top of our list. And I rewatched Goldfinger today because that is at the top of our list right now. And I can poke a million holes in that movie, but I love it. I love Goldfinger. That movie is so enjoyable, and all of its shortcomings don't mean anything next to its emotional punch and just how much fun it can be. The reason it's at the top is, a lot of reasons, but the main one above From Russia with Love was that, as McCurdy pointed out, Bond is just always underestimating Goldfinger, and then Goldfinger, who's just this fat schlub, is just besting him out of nowhere, and Bond can't even understand it himself. And then you have your whole plot twist of blowing up the gold rather than stealing it. But all that aside, GoldenEye, it's like they took this 6-year hiatus. They cleared house entirely, and they completely modernized, and they brought in a new Bond, and they brought in this director who just got it. And this Martin Campbell guy, he didn't give us no fucking double take pigeons. He delivered on everything that Bond used to be, but he also brought it into this new era of what we understand to be modern films. Even down to something I've mentioned before, which is that you should put some care and some thought into the first shot of your hero, and Martin Campbell does that in this movie. He opens it up with just touches of Bond, just pieces of him, not the whole picture, until he's revealed in this really bizarre fashion that is very much a Bond-like thing to kind of have fun with your bad guy by hanging upside down as he's taking a shit.
Beg your pardon? Forgot to knock.
It's not like some of the previous movies where Bond's just there. He's just there. Oh, there he is. He's laying in bed. He's skiing. There's no thought or care put into his first appearance, but with this one, there is. At the end of the day, you have to give credit where credit is due. Again, if you watch the last 16 of our episodes and you get to this point, it just seems obvious that this movie should be at the top. It's just an explosion of not only new and a new approach, but just a solid story and a solid Bond. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. This movie is incredible. It just brings us into modernity beautifully.
I'm glad you said modernized, Char, because I was saying at the beginning this was like one of the first ones I remember seeing. Rewatching it this time, I don't know how long it's been since I last seen it. It just felt like a modern movie. And I was worried about nostalgia and the fact that it felt like a modern movie getting in the way of ranking it against the other ones we've seen so far. But
yeah, modern doesn't mean good.
No.
I can point you to a million modern movies that suck.
Oh yeah.
But this
For
one,
sure.
and that's what I mean. Give credit where credit is due.
I had that same concern, Nathan, of, ranking nostalgia versus old brilliant Bond films, the ones that obviously we didn't grow up on. But after rewatching this film, I tried to remember all the points that we've ranked or argued about on previous films. 1, bad guy. 2, plot, which I think I've figured out that Man with a Golden Gun, License to Kill, and this film, I really enjoy personal vendetta Bond. Personally, I love that, but this one brings that balance of, okay, well, I'm still going to save the world. But no, Alec, this is for me, not for country. But I'm still going to save the world.